We're exploring Chronicles Battle for Greece, the newest expansion for Age of Empires 2. This DLC takes us back to ancient Greece. Does this new ancient setting fit with the classic Age of Empires 2 experience? And is it worth playing? Let's break down the highlights and potential downsides of this expansion. First off, Chronicles Battle for Greece tries something different. The game still keeps the traditional real-time strategy feel that fans love, but it mixes in some new ideas that make it stand out. One of the biggest changes is in the water combat. The developers have added some new mechanics for naval battles, which could shake things up in future updates. If these new water combat ideas are successful, we might see them come back in the main Age of Empires 2 game. Imagine a new type of warship or a special unit like a fire ship, which could even become a new unit for the Byzantines. It's interesting to think about where this could lead in the future. Also, the way the campaigns are structured is different from what players are used to. Normally, Age of Empires 2 has separate, standalone campaigns, but in Chronicles Battle for Greece, the different scenarios might influence each other. For example, the choices you make in one scenario could impact the next one. If you succeed at certain objectives, you might get unique advantages for future battles. This kind of progression between scenarios is a fresh take, and it could keep players coming back to see how different choices lead to different results. One of the coolest parts about this DLC is the focus on ancient Greece. In Chronicles Battle for Greece, you can play as either Athens or Sparta, two of the most famous city-states from ancient Greece. This gives you the chance to experience different strategies, units, and tactics that come from these powerful civilizations. Athens and Sparta play very differently, so it's not just a simple reskin of other Age of Empires 2 civilizations. Athens is more focused on naval power and strong economy, while Sparta is all about military might and controlling the battlefield with powerful infantry. The different playstyles really help set these civs apart, making it feel like you're actually living through the history of these ancient powers. It's also worth mentioning that Chronicles Battle for Greece might be the beginning of a new series. The title itself suggests that more expansions could be coming under the Chronicles banner. If this DLC is well received, we might see future entries like Chronicles the Three Kingdoms, which could bring in Chinese civs like Wei, Shu, and Wu, or Chronicles the Daimyos, focusing on the samurai clans of Japan. So, if you like the idea of exploring different cultures and time periods, there could be a lot more to look forward to. Here's where things get a little tricky. The biggest downside of Chronicles Battle for Greece is that it feels a bit out of place for Age of Empires 2. The main game of AOE 2 focuses on the medieval period, with civilizations like the Franks, Mongols, and English. But Chronicles is all about ancient Greece, which is thousands of years earlier. Some fans might feel like this doesn't belong in Age of Empires 2, and that's a fair point. If you've been playing AOE 2 for years and expect new medieval civs or expansions, this ancient setting might feel like a weird detour. It's not that the game is bad, it's just that the mix of ancient civilizations with the medieval setting feels a little strange. Imagine playing one game and suddenly receiving a DLC about a completely different game. It just doesn't feel like a good fit. So, if you're someone who wants more of the traditional Age of Empires 2 vibe, this might not be what you're hoping for. Another issue with Chronicles Battle for Greece is that it doesn't add much to the main Age of Empires 2 game itself. Unlike previous expansions that brought in new civilizations or content for the base game, this DLC only adds Greek city-states to the mix. While that's exciting in its own right, it doesn't feel like a huge expansion to the overall AOE 2 experience. Players who are hoping for new medieval civs or major updates to the core game might feel a little disappointed. The good news is that Chronicles brings a fresh take with its mechanics and campaign structure. But if you were expecting a big addition to the main game, this DLC doesn't quite deliver that. So, should you give Chronicles Battle for Greece a try? If you love the Age of Empires series and enjoy exploring new eras, this DLC adds some really interesting mechanics, new strategies, and unique scenarios to try. The idea of turning Chronicles into a series could give players more historical adventures to dive into without shifting too much from the core gameplay. However, if you're a die-hard medieval fan and want new content that stays true to the Middle Ages, Battle for Greece might feel a little out of place. The new civilizations and scenarios add a different flavor to the game that may not appeal to everyone, especially those who want new medieval civilizations or scenarios that better fit Age of Empires 2's classic feel. Thanks for sticking around for our review of Chronicles Battle for Greece. If you're curious about Age of Empires Mobile, and want to see what it brings to the table, click the link to watch that full review. Don't miss out. Check it out now.